This is The Top, where I interview entrepreneurs who are number one or number two in their industry in terms of revenue or customer base. You'll learn how much revenue they're making, what their marketing funnel looks like, and how many customers they have.
I'm now at $20,000 per talk.
5 and 6 million.
He is hell-bent on global domination. We just broke our 100,000 unit sold mark.
And I'm your host, Nathan Latka.
Okay, Top Tribe, this week's winner is Charlie Daggs, okay? He was a middle manager at a manufacturing company. He wants to break free, and he won the $100 I give out every Monday. For your chance to win, simply subscribe to the podcast on iTunes right now, and then text the word Nathan to 33444 to prove that you did it. Top Tribe, you know I don't have a lot of time to waste. That's why I use FreshBooks to send out invoices and make sure I'm collecting my money. To get your free month, go to nathanlatka.com/FreshBooks and enter the top in the How Did You Hear About Us section. This is episode 563. Nathan Latka here, and coming up tomorrow morning, you'll learn from Anders of ProLeads. They've hit 700 customers, $75 average revenue per user per month, and $500,000 raised. What will they do next? Well, listen to find out. Nathan Latka here. Good morning, everybody. Our guest today is Devin Wijesinghe, and he is the founder and CEO of InsightPool. He co-founded the business in 2012, and in that short time has led the company from 2 to 60 employees, acquired a Silicon Valley startup, Next Principles, and is currently revolutionizing marketing and sales across social. Devin, are you ready to take us to the top?
Let's do it.
All right. Tell us what InsightPool does, first off, and how you generate revenue.
Yeah, so what we do is we focus on a sector that is growing incredibly quickly called influencer marketing. Essentially, a brand needs to have an army of people syndicating their content with their own voices. And no longer do people care about what a brand says. It cares about what other people say about that brand. So our focus is in helping find those individuals for brands so they can build relationships with them and therefore help them and be their marketing army, if you will, because they have such an affinity towards that product and so forth. So our job is to really help mechanize that through a software as a service platform that we've built.
Got it. So your pricing model is monthly recurring. They can pick a plan.
Pick a plan. Yeah. Pick your spice, and it tiers up as you want more people. And then as you want to do more, different activities and features. But the whole point is that, hey, marketing is otherwise, an exercise in failure nowadays. 5% click-through rate means 95%, failed. Influencer marketing can many times help turn that on the head. Like, get 10 influencers talking about you, and you might be able to get 100 people to buy your product. So that's the focus.
I got it. Makes good sense. Before I go back and learn more about the history, starting in 2012, where are you today? You have a bunch of pricing. What's the average customer paying you per month?
Yeah, so the average ARPA, if you'd like to use SaaS metrics, is just over $3,000 a month.
Okay, great.
So that includes different variations, but also we know this is a new space, so we also help service those accounts with those clients.
Okay, so do you have some professional services included in that $3,000, or is that pure no-touch SaaS revenue?
It's in the beginning, training, implementation, and so forth, and then post that, it's really just pure. So it's more of what does it take in the beginning to get them started, and then after that, off to the races.
So that $3,000 you gave me, though, is that the off to the races number or the beginning number?
That's the off to the races number.
Okay, got it. Okay, now take us back to founding. You founded in 2012. Were you a solo founder?
Yeah, so the story was 2012 was probably more of we actually launched it in 2013, but I had previously sold another company I had called eVerify, which was in the data space, if you will, on individuals, and sold it in early 2012. And
what'd you sell that for, Devin?
Well, I can't release the number, but it's
come on, give me a big old range. Keep it vague.
It was 9 figures, so it was a good deal. But there's a private equity group that still owns it, so I'm still under NDA. But basically, what that was is, we built that up to almost 3,500 people that were in the field for us, and it was data on individuals. And then when I sold it, I was looking to get involved in other things, and just became a venture investor, and said, oh well, that's just super easy to do because I'm a genius now at 28, and I can definitely tell you I'm not a genius. And as I was looking at different things, social became more prevalent as being the newest data set. And so found a couple actually guys that were working, I don't want to say college dorm room, but it was a college cafeteria that were trying to figure out a way to match your what song you would like with your social media history. So think of like iTunes, but for using social. And I said, hey, that's interesting. Seeded it. And then
with how much? How'd you seed it for?
Seeded for $250,000.
Okay, got it. And was this like what college was this at?
Georgia, University of Georgia.
Okay, Georgia. So like you were like, I'm making this up. You were like a speaker at the entrepreneur club. These hustlers came up to you in the cafeteria at the end, and you were like, wow, this is interesting. Let me seed it and grow it with them.
Close. I was actually running something as well called the ATA, Atlanta Technology Angels. So like a formalized angel group. And they had wanted to come pitch that. And as I looked at it, I was like, well, I could probably be more helpful as an advisor and as an investor. And then so I seeded it, and that's how we met.
Got it.
They were working in Georgia, but I met them through here.
Okay, got it. Is it you? So are you down there with David Cummings in Atlanta, the tech space and all that?
Funny, yeah. David's one of my best friends. I've known him for a long time. And he's literally next door.
Oh, that's hysterical.
I was just talking to him 10 minutes ago, actually. So
we were meant to be talking right now. That's how that works.
Oh, is that funny? That's funny because we were the first company in the ATV. Like we actually
that's the Atlanta Tech Village for listeners.
Exactly.
Yeah, you were the one that came in and said, David, we'll sign your first lease, but you got to knock out these walls and put in this dong bell for every new sale that comes in and put in these special lights, right?
Close. Basically, it was like, David, we're not going to sign a lease. Give it to us for free for a little while, and we'll put up with all the construction that you're going to put us through.
That's so funny. All right. So back to InsightPool. So that was in 2012. What are you at team size today?
Yeah, just right around 60 people today.
Okay, 60 people. Still in the same place in ATV?
No, we had to build out our own custom space. Being in the ATV is awesome to launch, but if you stay there too long, A, the math doesn't work, and then B, it's kind of like living in your mom's basement, right? If you've hit product market fit and you can scale the business, you should go and do something traditional. So we actually like the sign. I don't think you can see behind me, but there's a sign behind me that says InsightPool. So it's a completely custom space that we built out now.
Got it. And then fast forward to where we are today. So January 2017. How many customers are you serving per month?
Yeah. So it's about over 100 different large enterprises per month, and many of them have like multiple properties that we serve. Uh-huh. So it's in the count of 200 plus of the properties that we serve. So for as an example, Coke may have Sprite and Fanta and so forth, and each of those are considered different customers.
So can I to back into your monthly recurring revenue number? Can I take 100 kind of brands times the $3,000 ARPU to get about $300,000 in MRR? Is that kind of accurate?
It's close to accurate. Unfortunately, we can't release it.
He's smirking, guys. I can see him right now. He's smirking, which means I nailed it. Okay, I'm right on it. All right, Devin, teach us some lessons about economics. So you're unique. Most companies, kind of at this kind of monthly recurring revenue level, their ARPUs, especially in SMB, are like sub, $100, right? You have kind of less customers paying you way more. Do you have an inside sales team? How do you think about CAC and LTV?
Yeah, so we do. So we have somewhat of a traditional and atraditional model. So target accounts that are, given by not just industry, but ones we have specific verticals attached to. So whether it be CPG and auto and so forth, that we have people go after. And then we also have an inside team that fields the inbound and, gets the, kind of call to close, if you will, accounts. So CAC LTV, we're always, we're always investing if there's growth, and CAC LTV makes less sense to worry too much about if you're growing quickly, just because you're going to continue to put money into marketing and so on and so forth. So as we think about LTV, that's like one of these funny math numbers, right? So you can kind of say LTV is 3 years because that's an average SaaS contract, but like that you could just like you could say, I'm worried about my CAC LTV and go bankrupt, right? So we think about it as not just CAC LTV, but true CAC LTV against what our contract values are typically 12 months plus, incorporating churn and then incorporating upsells into those, and then also
so your payback period's 12 months typically.
Yeah, so actually ours is a lot shorter than that. Ours is right around 4 months right now.
Okay, great.
But typically the contract value is 12. So it hits that magic marker, if you will, of 3. But then we honestly look at cash flow too, right? We say here's calculated and these are these metrics, but how does it float from a cash flow statement? Again, you could say you hit all your metrics and still go out of business because you haven't raised money soon enough.
Yeah. So you said you have about a 4-month payback period, and each customer is like $3,000 in monthly revenue. So 3 times 4 is $12,000. Is that what you're kind of on average spending to acquire a new customer?
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah, on average, correct. Sometimes we get some good, fun, lucky wins, and then sometimes it takes longer, but on average.
Yeah, you get lucky sometimes, right?
I'd love to be lucky than good.
Yeah, absolutely, right? Rather be lucky than good. Tell me about churn. Have you lost any customers? What's gross monthly customer churn?
Yeah. So there's been some. So it's typically averaging right around that 2.5% across 12.
Yep.
But so much of it also comes from.
Wait, what do you mean across 12? So is that 2.5 annually or monthly?
Correct. No, 2.5 annually.
Got it.
So
okay.
If you stay under the sub 30, and then that's just on gross, and then there's obviously some upsell that comes from that. So annually, upsell is about 15%. So it kind of squishes out to maybe 12 on an annualized basis. But the hold
on, I lost you there, Devin.
Yeah.
So I think what you're saying is your net revenue churn is close to 0 or negative because of your upsells. Is that accurate?
Yeah, not quite at not net. It's probably more like 10%. So if you take 27% or so annually, and then take about 12%, 15% or so on the upsell side, you have the delta remaining in terms of your net ARR.
What is I don't know, when you say take 27% annually, 27% is, what is that number?
Oh, so I'm just saying against the 2.5.
Oh, I thought you said that 2.5 was annual churn.
Oh, no.
That's monthly.
Correct.
Oh, got it. Okay, good. So, okay, that's monthly churn. You're multiplying that times 12 to get the 27%. Your upsells are somewhere, call it 15%. So total churn, net churn is somewhere around 15% annually.
Correct.
Got it. I'm with you. Okay, that makes sense. We already talked about kind of lifetime value and obviously $20-15. What about funding? So did you bootstrap this or have you raised capital?
No, we have raised capital. So we did an A round, and total invested into the company is just under $8 million.
Okay.
And so our job right now is to kind of the B round will be the show me round, right? And then to either decide to scale that, or to we look at different acquisitions and different things that we could do that pairs the company to get bigger faster, and some of that is inorganic. So we may do a B, or we may do something strategic with other people in the space because it's so new.
When was the last round of funding?
We did a debt round last year. So there was a few $1 million in debt that came in, I believe it was March of last year. So we've done a pretty good job efficiently using the capital, and we still have 12 months plus of runway in our bank right now. What
are you burning per month on average?
Unfortunately, we can't stay.
Come on, Devin.
I would
more or less than $400,000.
Oh, way less.
Okay, way less. Okay, I won't push further.
If it was 400, I'd be calling you for a job.
I'm horrible with people. I don't hire people. I'm so bad at it. That's why I do podcasting. It's much easier. All right, very good. So you did a debt round. Now you said that was in March. So we're almost a year away from that. So you're either in the middle of acquisition talks and you're selling to Salesforce, or you've already started raising your next round of funding. Which one is it?
Or we've just been getting a lot of pre-billing from customers.
Good answer.
Getting billed. So there's the option 4, I could tell you.
Okay, got it. Okay, Top Tribe, as many of you know, I sold Heyo, and everyone is always asking me what my expenses were when I was building Heyo. Well, a big expense was that I spent over $3,000 per month on financial services to keep me out of trouble in terms of taxes. My mom would always harbor me, Nathan, you gotta keep all your receipts and put them in a freaking box or something to make sure you don't get an audit or things like this. I'm like, Mom, I'm a millennial. You think I'm gonna keep all these receipts? I now use FreshBooks. I use their mobile app to take a picture of receipts, and it makes taxes a cinch. Additionally, I don't have to hire a $3,000 per month person to manage all my finances. It's like saving so much money, and my mom's happy.
Additionally, I don't waste a bunch of time creating invoices. I use their templates, and I can avoid using Word templates or Excel files. I just use FreshBooks to quickly send out invoices, and it works like a charm. To get your free first month, go to nathanlatka.com/FreshBooks and enter the top in the How Did You Hear About Us section. Again, go to nathanlatka.com/FreshBooks and enter the top in the How Did You Hear About Us section.
Very good. Let me see. Let's jump in here, Devin, to the famous 5. That was valuable. Number 1, what's your favorite business book?
Yeah, I think the favorite one is The Hard Things About Hard Things by Ben Horowitz. It just nails everything about life, being an entrepreneur. And I think the best quote ever from it is that as an entrepreneur, I slept like a baby. I woke up every 2 hours and cried. So I think that nails it pretty well.
That's funny. My favorite quote from that book is, if you're going to eat shit, don't nibble.
That's a good one too.
I think that was chapter 6, the header. All right. Number 2, is there a CEO you're following or studying right now?
Yeah. I think that I don't want to try and be cliche, but I just think like how Travis at Uber has positioned his business, not necessarily with all of the hype, but just how tight their business practices are. He has, gone into multiple other product areas, and all of a sudden now Uber Eats is a normalized thing that people talked about. And that's only probably been a year since launch. So I've been really interested, and I even just, listened to some of the interviews he does, and it's pretty rare, but how he has so much disciplined practices in a company that you would think can raise any amount of money they can, which they can, and their discipline would be, subpar because they have all of that access. And I would from listening to him, I would say it is the opposite of what anybody would think. Just because they're burning cash, they know exactly what they're doing and have a strategy for it, and that's pretty impressive.
Number 3, is there a favorite online tool you have, like Acuity Scheduling?
Me personally, or me for the company, I think, there's some great marketing automation tools. One we use is Pardot. I know because I know David so well. Yep. I at least try and ping him with my customer service issues, and they of course go unanswered. But I think marketing automation is, it's still in its infancy, but still one of those ways that you can unearth what's truly happening. But that's only because I don't know if you're allowing me to consider my own tool. So InsightPool would definitely sit in front of that.
Yeah. And I think, talking about tools real quick, Tope just exited Sunrise. I think he's there in Atlanta. Is he planning to stay and kind of reinvest in Atlanta, or is he moving somewhere?
I don't know. I have not caught up with them recently. And that's the funny thing is, you think that Atlanta is a pretty small town relative to tech, but I still run into people all the time that I've had no idea that they exist. And many of them have created rip-roaring businesses. And I guess that's what happens when you're concentrating on your business instead of making friends. Yep. That's the route you go through. But I hope he stays and does another one.
Number 4, yes or no, do you get 8 hours of sleep every night?
I do not usually, but man, when I do, it feels awesome.
And what's your situation? Married, single, you have kids?
No, yeah. None of the above. I mean, just single, but no, yeah, definitely no kids.
All right. And how old are you?
I am 33.
All right. So you're not that old.
Yeah, I am. I'm like a godfather. Come consult the old man in Silicon Valley.
No, man. Most of the big companies, people always forget this. These folks start when they're like 38 after they've been through the fire a few times. So,
well, I've gone through baptism by fire and all the other fire you can go through. So if you look at my receding hairline, you check it differently.
You look great. Last question, Devin. Take us back a glorious 13 years. What do you wish your 20-year-old self knew?
Yeah, good question. I think my 20-year-old self would try and learn to concentrate on financial metrics and understanding finance a lot more deeply than when you're in the middle of something. I think it's a subject that you can't learn enough about in the beginning.
You mean kind of come in prepared, don't try and learn this as you go?
Yeah. Like, the number one thing is in a business to have product market fit. But, finance is usually looked at as something that just gets done as opposed to something that's strategic. And, and I've learned to be able to say, how do we make that strategic? How do you make math dance? How do you make metrics dance? And many times that's not a CEO's forte. and just thinks it's somebody else's, but that's eventually how all of us get graded. And I wish I learned that more earlier.
I'm throwing in one extra question because it's my podcast. I'm allowed to do that. What are you trying to do this year? Are you're call it somewhere around 300 grand. Are you trying to double or triple or quadruple MRR by December 2017?
Yeah, this is I think the market is shaping up that this is going to be a big year. So, ours is about a, 2.5x forecast. But, if somebody said we hit 3, I'm not going to cry.
Yeah, got it. And what would that put you at? You guys do you think you'll break $1 million in MRR by the end of the year?
That could be pretty close.
Okay, very good. Very good. That's good stuff, guys. You learn to hear from Devin. Learn those financials before you get started. You'll be better off that way. He's had many successful exits there in Atlanta. Launched InsightPool, the influencer marketing platform, back in 2012. He's got a team of 60. Average, again, number of customers he's serving is somewhere around 100. Again, ARPU about $3,000 each. Gross churn monthly about 2.5 annually. Net churn somewhere around 15. Willing to spend up to $12,000 on customer acquisition costs. Again, helping influencers connect with brands to grow acquisition. Devin, thank you for taking us to the top.
Thanks a lot. Take care, guys.
If you enjoyed Devin today, go back and listen to Nick yesterday. Illuminato raised $700,000. They passed 100 customers, and they're growing their team in Washington, D.C. very fast. Top Tribe, I love giving away free money. I feel like Oprah giving away cars, and I have something special for you today. How many of you have heard our super sharp guests talk about success they've had with Facebook and Google ads? Well, all of you listening right now, yes, if you're listening, you get $100 in free AdWords. Here's how you get it, okay? Again, thanks for listening. Get the free $100 from Google, right, when you sign up with my website host provider, HostGator. Go sign up now to get your free money. HostGator.com/Nathan. Again, that's HostGator.com/Nathan. Okay, Top Tribe, I'll see you bright and early tomorrow morning. And don't forget, before you listen to any other episodes, subscribe on iTunes right now for your chance to win $100 every Monday.